What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Parts to Profit, my series where I show you guys how to build gaming PCs. I test them out and I try to flip them for a profit. Alrighty, and today we are going to be checking out a gaming PC on the AM4 platform featuring a Ryzen 5 5600 XT along with the RX 6600, a combo that surprisingly is still holding up pretty damn good in 2025. Before we get into anything though, if you haven't already, go ahead and make sure you hit that subscribe button, smash the like button, and ring the bell so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thanks a bunch, and with that out of the way, let's hop into the build. Alrighty, so starting with the motherboard, I went with the B550 Eagle from Gigabyte. It's a pretty sleek but simple looking motherboard on the AM4 platform, and we've got Wi-Fi, a decent amount of I/O coverage, and overall it just looks amazing and it should fit well with the rest of our components. And for the CPU, we're using the Ryzen 5 5600 XT. It's a solid budget CPU released in 2024 that sits somewhere between the 5600 and the 5600X in terms of performance, and it's usually running a little bit cheaper. And up next is the RAM, and I threw in a 16GB kit of DDR4 from Corsair. Got it running at 3200 MHz, and having at least 16GB of RAM is usually the baseline for any AM4 build. And we're going to go ahead and pop these into slots A2 and B2. And for the storage, we've got my go-to drive, the 1TB MP44L from Team Group. This drive is always under 60 bucks over on Amazon, and it has some pretty good speeds for the price. Yeah, just pop this in real quick, get it screwed down, and we are good to go. And I'm going to stick with the stock cooler since it should be able to hopefully handle the 5600 XT, but we'll see how that goes. We will use some Thermal Grizzly instead of the stuff that comes on the cooler though, just because in my opinion it's not that good. Alrighty, and just pop off our brackets and get the cooler screwed down, and just make sure not to over tighten. Okay, so we're finished getting the cooler installed. Just gonna plug the fan in and then just tuck the cable behind the housing the best that we can. And we are all set with the motherboard, guys, and let's move on to the case. And this is the Apollo E2 from my friends over at Gamdias. They were nice enough to send this over for me to try out for a build. So just a quick shout out to them for helping out the channel. But yeah, it's a very solid ATX mid-tower case that's definitely on the unique side of things, with a full glass door for our front panel. We have full ATX support. Comes with a 120mm exhaust fan. We also have two giant 200mm fans on the front behind a full panel of glass. We also have 240 support up top. And overall, just a very unique case from Gamdias. Very nice. If you're interested in grabbing the Apollo E2 for yourself, you can grab one for 60 bucks over at your local Micro Center. And they also have a few other options available that I'll definitely be checking out for future builds. And I'll leave a link in the description if you want to grab one for yourself. And just thanks again to Gamdias for sending over the case. Alrighty, so let's go ahead and pop our motherboard down into the case. And screw this down real quick, and we're all set. Okay, so the motherboard is installed and looking pretty damn good so far, but let's go ahead and move around to the back. For the power supply, we're going with the A550BN from MSI. It's another regular here on the channel. It's just a very solid 550 watt 80 plus bronze PSU for less than 60 bucks. And we're just going to go ahead and get this screwed in real quick, and we are almost done with the build, guys. Alrighty, I'm going to manage our cables real quick, and I will see you guys in a second.
A few moments later.
Okay, so the front looks great, but let's check out the cable management on the back, because I'm honestly so happy with my progression here on the channel managing these cables. I'm starting to get pretty damn good at it, don't you think? Like, real pat on the back for me over here. Get our back panel back on, and we can go ahead and move on to our final component, our GPU. And we are going with the RX 6600 from XFX, and this GPU is now almost 4 years old, and it still handles 1080p gaming pretty damn well, which I honestly was not expecting at all. If you're just trying to play some games on a budget, I definitely recommend using the 6600. But yeah, go ahead, pop this off. We gotta take off this little bracket in the back. And then we're just pushing this into our slot. And getting it screwed down nice and tight. Get the bracket back on. And then we're just worrying about getting our 8-pin plugged in. And we are all set. Alrighty guys, so that'll do it for the build portion of the video, and it definitely looks more simple compared to the other builds that we've done this season, but overall it still looks great. Let me know what you guys think down in the comments, and we can go ahead and get it ready to boot up for the first time. This door is so cool. Alrighty guys, let's boot her up for the first time. Make sure we get a post. Just gotta make sure to hit the switch on the power supply as well as the power button up top. And we posted, so we are all set, and I'm just going to go ahead, get Windows installed, update our BIOS, and then I can go ahead, run some tests, and play some games. So I will see you guys in just a few seconds. Alrighty, so I know I said we were all done with the building part, but after I started looking back at some of our gameplay testing, and I was running a few benchmarks, the CPU temps were just getting way out of control, so I did make the executive decision to swap out the cooler. It was just getting so toasty in here. So we are going to be switching out for the Cooler Master Hyper 212. It's a pretty cheap cooler. I know there are cheaper on Amazon, but I was kind of getting this done on short notice. So I'm just going to go ahead, toss that in, and it should help out with the temps. Okay, so we got the new cooler installed, and it 100% made the build look way better. And I also threw in an RGB fan I had laying around because why not, right? And all of this actually cut our temps in half, so that's a win-win in my opinion. And with that problem fixed, we can go ahead and actually hop into our games and test out our benchmark. So let's go ahead and hop into it. Alrighty guys, so starting out our benchmark tests with some Cinebench 2024, I ended up with a score of 613, which honestly for the 5600 XT, that's pretty damn good. And up next was Steel Nomad, and was nothing to write home about in terms of smoothness. It was definitely a little choppy, but we did end up with a score of 1453. Time Spy ran a hell of a lot better in my opinion with a final score of 7732, and I'm pretty impressed with the 6600 here guys, performing very well. And last up for testing was the superposition test at 1080p extreme settings, and we finished with a score of 4258. And starting out a few games with some Warzone, everything played super smooth in ultra settings with FSR set to balanced, and we got a solid average of 120 FPS. And playing some Fortnite with performance mode enabled got us some smooth gameplay at an average of 350 frames per second. And for being in performance mode, everything looked fantastic. And I'm currently running another playthrough of The Last of Us Part 2, and everything looked amazing running with this combo on high settings and FSR set to quality. And not gonna lie guys, I'm missing Joel a little bit. And after testing 15 games, this is the only one that was a little iffy using this combo. I had to drop down to medium settings with FSR enabled just to get some smooth gameplay over 60 frames per second. But once I did that, everything was fine.
But you outright slaughtered him.
Alrighty guys, that does it for another episode of Parts to Profit. Thanks for sticking around till the end, and if you did, make sure you go ahead and smash that like button. But again, I think this build was a little humbling to put together another AM4 platform. It's definitely been a while. I've been dealing with the last 5 of the series being kind of high-end, or at least mid-range. So going back to a 5600 XT and a 6600, which is at this point a few years old, it was definitely a little different, but I'm not complaining. I think the performance was great, and I think the PC actually came out looking amazing, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. But before we go, we got to update our board and talk about our inventory, which is definitely starting to get a little high. So if we look at our board, we do have still 2 sold, 3 listed, and now we'll have 4 listed, starting out our budget half of the series. Our bank is still sitting at 2,300, which again is unfortunate. Hoping to see it go up soon. But, you know, the more PCs I have listed over on Jawa, the more likely they are to sell, right? But yeah, so we do have our updated board. We are 6 in, we got 4 to go, and I'm having a good time so far. Thanks for watching, everybody. Again, we're over 600 subscribers. Let's see if we can make it up to 700. That would be awesome. Or at least 650. Let's see if we can do that. By the next episode, let's see if we can hit 650. But yeah, that'll do it, guys. I really appreciate you guys watching. If you made it to the end, like I said, make sure you hit the like button, hit the bell so you don't miss any videos, and hit that subscribe button because it seriously helps out the channel. Yeah, that'll do it, guys. Until the next episode, I will see you then. Peace out.